The water's still 3 feet deep on Rampart Street, which means St. Louis Cemetery number 1 is completely underwater. Has been for 6 days since Hurricane Delphine decided to park herself over the city and just sit there like she owned the place. I'm standing outside the Marigny Community Center, which is what we're calling the First Baptist Church on Frenchman Street now that it's housing 200 people who can't get back to their homes. I run the volunteer medical station here. Ran, I guess. Past tense. They're evacuating us tonight. My name's Jericho Baptiste, 32 years old, certified EMT for 9 years. Worked for NOEMS until the city laid off half the department in 2019. Now I freelance, disaster response, event medical, whatever pays. Grew up in the 7th Ward, 6 blocks from here. My cousin Delphine, yeah, same name as the hurricane, she's been getting shit about that all week. She's in the church kitchen right now, making red beans with the last of the propane. She's 53, raised me after my mom passed when I was 14. Delphine doesn't evacuate. Never has. Rode out Katrina in her attic on Turo Street with 2 cats and a Bible. The FEMA guy's name is Kowalski. No, wait. Kowalski was yesterday. Today it's Peterson. Maybe Peterson. I'm not great with names when I'm running on 4 hours of sleep in 3 days. He's telling me the buses are coming at 1900 hours, which is cute because nobody in New Orleans uses military time except people from somewhere else. And he's got that clipboard and vest energy that makes my teeth hurt. Mr. Baptiste, I need you to understand the waterborne pathogen situation. He's got the clipboard up like it's a shield. The CDC detected elevated levels of Clostridium perfringens in the floodwater around the cemetery district. Gas gangrene bacteria. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. Okay, maybe a little, but I've been doing this job since I was 23. I know what C. perfringens is. It's anaerobic. Loves dead tissue. The old cemeteries, they're above ground vaults, right? Water gets in, bodies that were sealed up for 100 years. Suddenly, they're in this bacterial soup. The point is, Peterson cuts me off, which, fair enough, I was rambling. I do that when I'm nervous. The point is we're sealing the cemetery district. Nobody in or out. The pathogen levels are beyond anything we've seen. Mandatory evacuation of the Marigny, Tromé, and French Quarter zones. Tonight, my cousin's not leaving. Sir, this isn't optional. You tell her that. He looks past me at the church, at the center, whatever we're calling it, and I can see him doing the math. 200 people, most of them elderly, most of them poor, most of them black, most of them done with being told where to go and when to go there by people who show up with clipboards and leave when things get difficult. Tell me something, I say, because I'm tired and my lower back hurts from sleeping on a church pew and there's something wrong with the smell in the air that I can't place. Why now? Storm was 6 days ago. Water's been sitting for almost a week. Why is the CDC suddenly worried about bacteria that's been in those graves for decades? Peterson looks at his clipboard. Not at me. At the clipboard. I need you to have everyone ready by 1900 hours. He leaves, gets in his white Ford Explorer with the FEMA stickers and drives away, and the water's deep enough that it comes up past his running boards. I go back inside. The church smells like red beans and mildew and too many people sharing one bathroom. Delphine's got her hair wrapped in one of those African print scarves she likes, the purple one with gold patterns, and she's stirring the beans with a wooden spoon that's older than I am. They're making us leave. I tell her, we've left before, not like this. They're sealing the whole cemetery district. Something about the bacterial levels. She doesn't stop stirring. What kind of bacteria? See, perfringens. Gas gangrene stuff. It's anaerobic, likes dead tissue. I know what it is, baby. I'm asking why they care now. Storm was 6 days ago. They haven't cared about us for 6 days. Now suddenly they want us gone by dinner. That's the thing about Delphine. She asks the questions I'm thinking, but haven't quite shaped into words yet. I hear it then. Church bells. St. Louis Cathedral, I think, which is weird because the power's been out in the quarter since the storm and those bells are electric. The sound comes across the water, clear and wrong, and under it there's something else. A low sound. Multiple low sounds. Like moaning but rhythmic. Like breathing. You hear that. I ask. Delphine stops stirring. Outside, someone screams. I'm moving before I think about it. Out the front door, down the church steps into the water that's warm and smells like sewage and gasoline, and something else now. Something organic and rotten. The scream came from across the street, from the auto zone that's been closed since the storm. The water's up to my thighs. I'm wading through it, past floating debris, a Nike shoebox, a baby stroller, a wooden picture frame with the photo long since dissolved. The woman screaming is Beatrice Arsenault. I know her. She ran the po' boy shop on Dauphine Street. She's 67 years old, and she makes the best fried oyster po' boys in the city, and she has a granddaughter named Celine who's 12 and wants to be a veterinarian. Beatrice is pointing at the water. There's something floating face down. At first I think it's debris. A mannequin maybe from one of the costume shops. But then I see the clothes, a suit, old-fashioned like something from a funeral in the 1950s. And the skin. The skin is wrong. Gray-white, bloated but moving. The fingers are twitching. Don't touch it, I say, but I'm already moving toward it because that's what I do, that's what I've always done, and I'm reaching for it before my brain catches up with what my eyes are seeing. The thing turns over. It's not a mannequin. It has a face. Had a face. The features are there, but they're swollen, distended, and the mouth is open and there's water pouring out, but also gas, bubbles rising up, and the smell hits me like a physical thing. Hydrogen sulfide and putrefaction and something chemical, sharp like ammonia mixed with chlorine. The eyes open. They're cloudy, opaque, but they're looking at me. Looking at me. The mouth moves. The jaw works like it's trying to remember how. And then there's a sound, a wet, rasping sound that might have been speech once, but now it's just air forcing through decomposing vocal cords. The thing in the water starts moving toward me. I'm backing away. My medical training says this is impossible. Bodies don't just reanimate. Even with bacterial infection, even with gas buildup, bodies don't move with purpose. They don't track movement with their eyes. They don't reach for you. Beatrice is still screaming. The church bells are still ringing, and now I hear more of them. More of that wet moaning sound, coming from down the street, coming from the direction of St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. I look toward the cemetery. The water's deeper there, 5 or 6 feet at least, and there are shapes in the water, dozens of them, moving. The vaults broke open. The storm flooded the cemetery, broke open the old above-ground tombs, and now the bodies are in the water, and the water's full of bacteria, and the bacteria is... No, that's not how bacteria works. That's not how anything works. But the thing in the water is still coming toward me, reaching for me with hands that have skin peeling off in sheets. And behind it there are more. I can see them now, floating, waiting, moving with that same slow, purposeful motion. I grab Beatrice's arm and pull her back toward the church. The water's fighting me. The current's weird, wrong, like something's pushing against the flow. We make it to the church steps, and I'm yelling for everyone to get inside. Get inside now. And Delphine's already there at the door pulling people in. I get Beatrice inside, and I'm turning to close the door when I see it. Down the street, past the submerged cars, and the floating trash, and the water that reflects the gray sky like dirty glass. I see them coming. Not just a few, dozens, maybe hundreds, walking through the water like it's not even there. Still wearing their burial clothes, still sealed in their funeral suits and dresses from decades ago. Their skin is that same gray-white, bloated and gas-filled and moving wrong, and they're all coming this direction. They're all coming toward the church. I slam the door, lock it, start piling furniture against it because the lock is just a normal deadbolt, and we're about to have a very abnormal problem. Jericho. Delphine's voice is calm, too calm. That's how I know she's terrified. Jericho, what did you see? I'm breathing hard. My pants are soaked with floodwater. I can smell it on me. That sewage gasoline smell, but worse now. Chemical. Sharp. Wrong. The cemetery broke open. I say. The bodies. They're in the water. And something's making them move. That's not possible. I know. Outside, the church bells keep ringing. And under them, closer now, I can hear the moaning. wet and rhythmic and hungry. And I'm thinking about Peterson and his clipboard and the way he wouldn't look at me when I asked why they cared about the bacteria now. I'm thinking he already knew. The first time my phone gets service in 6 days, it's 1847 hours, 6:47 p.m. normal time. And I've got 17 missed calls for numbers I don't recognize and 3 text messages, all from the same 504 number. The last one just says, "Stay inside. Do not enter water. FEMA evac canceled." I'm on the 2nd floor of the church now. Up here it's the Sunday school rooms, little classrooms with carpet that smells like mildew and dry erase boards that still have last month's Bible verses written on them. We moved everyone up here 20 minutes ago when we heard the first ones trying the doors downstairs. The sound they make, not knocking, not really, just this rhythmic thumping like they're testing the resistance. Like they're learning. There's 42 people up here. I counted. Twice. Beatrice Arsenault is sitting against the wall having what I think is a panic attack, breathing into a paper bag that Delphine found somewhere. Delphine herself is moving through the group, doing that thing she does where she projects calm even when everything's falling apart. She's good at that. Always has been. During Katrina, she kept 12 people alive in that attic for 4 days by pure force of will and an ability to make decisions when everyone else was frozen. I'm at the window. The glass is old, single pane, reinforced with chicken wire from back when this was a school in the 60s. Not much protection. I can see them down there in the water. 20, maybe 30 of them now, clustered around the building. Some are just floating, barely moving. Others are active, testing doors, pressing against walls, moving with that wrong slow-motion walk through water that should be stopping them but isn't. One of them is wearing a yellow dress. Vintage, 1920s maybe, with lace at the collar. The dress is mostly intact, but the woman wearing it isn't. Her skin is that gray-white color, bloated with gas, and parts of her face are gone. Not decomposed exactly, more like consumed, eaten away by something. But she's moving. Her arms work. Her legs move. Her head turns when something catches her attention. I watch her walk past the submerged Nissan Sentra that belongs to Trevor Guidry, who works at the Walgreens on Elysian Fields and parks here during his shifts because the church parking's free. I watch the water line hit her chest, and I watch her hands break the surface and reach for the church wall. My phone buzzes. Another text. Different number. This is Dr. Ramon Chenault, CDC field team. If you are in Marigny/Trome district, respond immediately. I text back. Church on Frenchman. 42 people. Surrounded. What the hell is happening? The response comes fast. Stay inside. Do not contact water. Pathogen is waterborne plus bloodborne. Reanimation confirmed via anaerobic bacterial cascade. Building to building transfer only safe method. FEMA evac helicopters inbound 2,200 hours. I read it 3 times. Reanimation confirmed via anaerobic bacterial cascade. That's not medical terminology. That's someone trying to make science words explain something that shouldn't exist. Jericho. Delphine's next to me. I didn't hear her walk up. Talk to me. CDC says it's the bacteria. The anaerobic stuff from the cemetery water. They're saying it's causing. I show her the phone because I don't want to say the word. She reads it. Her face doesn't change. Reanimation. That's not possible. Bacteria can't. They can make gas, bloating. They can create pressure that moves bodies, but this isn't just gas pressure. Those things down, they're tracking movement. They're problem solving. They tried 3 different doors before they started on the windows. What's the CDC saying to do? Wait for helicopter evac. 2,200 hours. I check my watch. The Timex my dad gave me before he died still works somehow. 2 hours and 13 minutes. Something hits the window. Not hard, just a bump, but we both jump. It's a hand. Palm pressed against the glass, fingers spread. The skin is gray-white, and there are gaps between the fingers where tissue has dissolved or been consumed. Through the gaps I can see bone. But the hand is pressing, testing the resistance. Behind the hand is a face. Male, maybe 60 when he died, wearing a suit that might have been nice once. His jaw is moving in that weird rhythmic way. Water is dripping from his mouth, and his eyes, those cloudy white eyes, are looking at us. Not just looking in our direction, looking at us. They can see us, Delphine says quietly. They shouldn't be able to. Those eyes, the opacity suggests complete corneal degradation. Even if the optical nerve is intact, which it shouldn't be, there's no way. Jericho. She puts her hand on my arm. They can see us. The face at the window tilts, like it's curious, like it's studying us. More of them are gathering now. I count 8 at our window, 15 along the south wall. I can't see the north side, but I hear the thumping, that same testing rhythm. They're surrounding the building. My phone buzzes. Dr. Chenault again. How many in building? Any injuries? Any water contact past 1800 hours? I text, 42 people. No injuries. Some water contact during initial evac, but before 1800. Why does time matter? The response, bacterial bloom reached critical saturation at 1805 hours. Before that, exposure risk minimal. After equals infection risk 98%. Symptoms present 20 to 40 minutes post-contact. Do you have anyone showing symptoms? I look at my pants. Still wet. Soaked through from when I went into the water to grab Beatrice. That was 1820, maybe 1825. I check my watch. 1851 now. 26 minutes ago. 30 maybe. Symptoms present 20 to 40 minutes. I'm checking myself before I realize what I'm doing. Looking at my hands for discoloration. Checking my arms. My skin looks normal. Tan brown, same as always. No gray-white bloating. No gas formation. I feel tired. Lower back still hurts. But that's just from sleeping on the church pew. That's normal. That's just being 32 and running on no sleep during a hurricane aftermath. That's not symptoms. That's not infection. Jericho, Delphine, is looking at me. What did they say? They said, I stop. Because Beatrice is standing now. Beatrice who was in the water with me. Beatrice who was screaming when I grabbed her and pulled her back. She's standing and her paper bag is on the floor and she's looking at her hands like she doesn't recognize them. Ms. Beatrice? I move toward her. How you feeling? Cold. Her voice is wrong. Thick. Like her tongue isn't working right. So cold. And my chest, it hurts. Like pressure. Like something's pushing out. I'm in front of her now, looking at her face. Her skin looks okay. Dark brown, same as always. No discoloration. But her eyes, there's something in her eyes. A cloudiness at the edges. Just starting. When did you last touch the water? I don't. When you grabbed me. When you pulled me. We were both. She looks at me. Really looks at me. And I see the moment she understands. Oh no, it's okay. We're okay. The CDC's got people coming. Helicopters. 2 hours. They'll have treatment, antibiotic protocols, whatever we need. Jericho. She grabs my arms. Her hands are strong. Too strong. My grandbaby. Celine. She's with her mama in Algiers. You make sure if I don't, you make sure someone tells them. You're going to tell them yourself. 2 hours. We just need to make it 2 hours. But I'm texting Dr. Chenault. One person showing symptoms. Female, 67. Water contact approximately 30 minutes ago. What's the protocol? The response takes longer this time. Long enough that I'm starting to panic. Then, no protocol. Bacterial cascade, irreversible once initiated. Patient will expire within 2 to 4 hours. Reanimation follows a 5 to 15 minutes after cessation of cardiac function. You must isolate patient immediately. Use separate room. Restrain if possible. Do not allow contact with others. I'm reading this and Beatrice is reading it over my shoulder because she's right there and I wasn't fast enough to hide the phone. Oh, she says. Just that. Oh, Delphine is next to us now. She read it too. Everyone's reading it. The whole room is quiet except for the thumping from outside and the church bells that won't stop ringing. No, I'm putting the phone away. No, that's not. They don't know everything. Maybe there's treatment. Maybe if we keep you stable until the helicopters. Jericho. Beatrice's voice is calm. Too calm. Like Delphine's voice earlier. I need you to listen. I need you to lock me in one of these rooms. Now, before it gets worse. Ms. Beatrice. Now, while I can still think. While I'm still me. I look at Delphine. She looks back at me, and I see it in her face. The same thing I'm thinking. If Beatrice was in the water 30 minutes ago, and I was in the water 30 minutes ago, then we're on the same timeline. Same exposure. Same infection risk. Same symptoms. I check my hands again. Still normal. Still tan brown. No cloudiness. No bloating. Maybe I didn't get enough exposure. Maybe the bacteria load was lower where I was standing. Maybe my chest hurts. No, that's just anxiety. That's just stress. That's not pressure. That's not gas formation. That's just my heart rate elevated from adrenaline and fear and running on 4 hours of sleep. That's not symptoms. Delphine takes Beatrice's arm. Gentle. Come on, honey. Let's get you comfortable. They go into one of the Sunday school rooms. The one that says ages 9 to 11 on the door. I follow them. Inside, there's tiny chairs and a craft table with construction paper and a bookshelf with Bible storybooks. Delphine sits Beatrice in the teacher's chair, the only adult-sized one. You got any handcuffs? Delphine asks me. No, I'm not a cop. I'm an EMT. Why would I have handcuffs? Something to restrain her with. Rope. Duct tape. I'm not tying her up. Jericho. Beatrice looks at me. Her eyes are cloudier now. Definitely cloudier. Do it. We use extension cords from the janitor's closet. I hate every second of it. Wrapping them around her wrists, around chair legs. She doesn't fight. Just sits there while Delphine and I tie her up like we're preparing her for something we can't even name. When we're done, Beatrice says, "Tell Celine I love her. Tell her Grammy tried to stay. You're going to tell her yourself." But I'm backing toward the door, and Delphine is already there, hand on the doorknob. We leave her in the room, lock the door from the outside. There's a small window in the door, reinforced glass with chicken wire. I can see Beatrice through it, still sitting, still alive, still changing. Outside the room, Delphine turns to me, looks at me with those eyes that raised me, that know me better than anyone. "Let me see your hands," she says. I show her. They look normal. Your eyes. I let her look. She's quiet for a long time. "Jericho, don't." The edges. They're starting to cloud. That could be anything. Allergies. The mildew in here. Stress. It's the same as hers. I check my watch. 19:09 hours. 39 minutes since water contact. Right at the start of the symptom window. My chest hurts. The pressure is real. Building. I can feel it now when I breathe. Like something's expanding inside my ribcage. "How long?" I ask. The CDC said 2 to 4 hours until cardiac function stops. Then 5 to 15 minutes until I'm like them. We're both quiet. Outside, the church bells are still ringing. The thumping on the walls has gotten more organized, more purposeful. They're not just testing anymore. They're trying to get in. My phone buzzes. Dr. Chenault. Helicopter ETA 2,145 hours. 45 minutes ahead of schedule. How many for evac? I look at the Sunday school room door. At Beatrice inside. At Delphine standing next to me. At the 40 other people in the next room who are depending on me to get them out of here. I look at my hands. At the edges of my vision where everything's starting to look a little bit cloudy. A little bit gray. I text back, 41 people for evac. Delphine grabs my phone, deletes what I wrote, types, 42 people for evac, 2 showing symptoms, requesting immediate medical intervention upon pickup. She sends it before I can stop her. We're both going on that helicopter. Both of us. They'll have treatment. They'll have something. You read what they said. Irreversible. There's no treatment. Then we die in a hospital instead of a church. But we're not dying here. The pressure in my chest is worse. I can feel it when I breathe now. Each inhale harder than the last. Like my lungs are running out of room. Like something's taking up space that air should be in. I look at my watch. 19:12 hours. 42 minutes since exposure. Dr. Chenault's response, negative on medical intervention. No known treatment. Infected individuals cannot board helicopter. CDC protocol requires containment of active infection vectors. Helicopter will only extract non-symptomatic individuals. I show Delphine. She reads it. Her face doesn't change. Then we don't tell them, she says. We get on that helicopter and we don't tell them until we're in the air. They'll know. They'll see the symptoms. The eyes. Not if we hide it. Sunglasses. Hat. Keep our distance. By the time they figure out we'll be at a hospital, somewhere with actual resources, actual medical equipment. Delphine. I take her hands. They're warm, solid, real. They're not going to let us on. And even if they did, even if we made it, the CDC said there's no treatment. This thing, whatever it is, once it starts, it doesn't stop. You don't know that. I do. I can feel it. Can't you? The pressure, the cold. It's already started. She's quiet. Then, how long do we have? 2 to 4 hours until cardiac function stops. The CDC said. So maybe, I check my watch. Do the math. Maybe 2,100 hours. Maybe 2,300. Somewhere in there. And then 5 to 15 minutes until reanimation. We need to tell the others. They need to know. They need to be prepared. No. The word comes out harder than I meant. No. They're scared enough. We tell them, and it'll be panic. Chaos. Someone will try to throw us out or lock us up, and we've only got... I check my watch again. 93 minutes. Maybe less. I'm not spending it fighting with people or locked in a room. What do you want to spend it doing? I look at the window, at the shapes moving in the water below, at the church that's surrounded, at the 41 people in the next room who are going to get on a helicopter in 33 minutes and fly away from here and maybe survive. I want to make sure they get out, I say. All of them. I want to make sure the helicopter can land. I want to make sure nobody else has to go through what we're going through. Delphine is looking at me like she's memorizing my face. Jericho Baptiste. Always trying to save everyone. Learned it from you. She hugs me. Hard. And I hug her back, and for just a second I'm 14 again, and she's telling me it's okay. Everything's going to be okay, even though my mom just died and nothing will ever be okay again. But somehow Delphine made it okay anyway. I love you, she says. I love you too. When we pull apart, I see it. The cloudiness in her eyes. Further along than mine. Much further. Delphine. When did you touch the water? She doesn't answer. Delphine. When I pulled you back inside. When you were standing at the door looking at them. I grabbed your arm. Your clothes were soaked. The water got on my hands. That was before 1800 hours. Before the critical saturation. The CDC said exposure before 1800 was minimal risk. Not no risk. Minimal. She shows me her hands. The skin is starting to change. Gray-white at the fingertips. Spreading. I've been symptomatic for 20 minutes. I didn't want to tell you. I'm doing the math. If she's 20 minutes ahead of me, and symptoms present 20 to 40 minutes after exposure, that means she made contact around 1830. 40 minutes ago, which means she's got an hour, I say, maybe 90 minutes, until, I know, outside something breaks. Glass shattering. Downstairs, the thumping stops. And then there's a different sound. Wet dragging. Footsteps. Multiple footsteps. Moving through the church. They got in. The sounds for downstairs are worse than I imagined. Not footsteps exactly, more like dragging. Scraping. The wet slide of something that used to be human pulling itself across tile that's still underwater. And under that, the moaning. Constant now. Rhythmic. Like breathing but wrong. I'm at the top of the stairs with a fire extinguisher. It's the only thing I could find that works as a weapon. 30 pounds of pressurized chemicals with decent reach. Not great against what's coming up those stairs, but better than nothing. Delphine is behind me herding people into the far Sunday school room. The one labeled ages 12 to 14. She's moving fast, efficient, that same force calm she does so well. Nobody's asking questions yet. They heard the glass break. They know. How many stairs? Delphine asks me. 14. I counted. How many of them downstairs? Can't tell. At least 6, maybe more. I can see movement at the bottom, shapes in the water. The lighting down there is bad, just emergency exit signs casting red, but I can make out details. A man in a suit, a woman in a dress, something smaller, child-sized. Jesus, they buried children in those old cemeteries. Of course they did. Families, generations, all sealed up in those above-ground tombs until the hurricane broke them open and dumped them into water that was full of bacteria that should have just made them decompose faster, but instead it woke them up. My phone buzzes. Dr. Chenault, helicopter inbound. ETA 8 minutes. Roof access? I text back. No roof access. Building surrounded. Ground floor compromised. Need extraction from second floor window. Response, negative. Helicopter cannot lower to second floor in urban environment. Power lines. Buildings. Need roof access or clear ground LZ. I look at the stairs. At the shapes climbing them. Slow but purposeful. They're learning. Getting better at coordinating limbs that shouldn't work. Text Dr. Chenault. Ground floor not clear. Ground floor full of reanimated corpses. What's plan B? Long pause. Then, assessing alternatives. Standby. Jericho. Delphine is next to me again. They're asking about you. Who? Everyone. They want to know what's happening. What the plan is. Why we locked Beatrice in that room, and why you're standing at the stairs with a fire extinguisher instead of getting ready to evacuate. Tell them I stop. Because one of the shapes on the stairs looks up. The woman in the yellow dress from earlier. Her face is mostly gone now. Consumed, dissolved, I don't know. But she's looking at me with those cloudy eyes. Looking at me and starting to climb faster. Tell them the helicopter's coming, I say. Tell them 8 minutes. Tell them we're getting them out. And us. I look at her. Really look at her. The cloudiness in her eyes is worse. Spreading from the edges toward the center. And her skin, I can see it now in the emergency lighting. Starting to change. Gray-white blooming at her fingertips, at her neck, spreading. How's the pressure? I ask. Bad. Breathing's hard. And I'm so cold, Jericho. I shouldn't be this cold. It's August in New Orleans. We're in a room with 40 people and no AC. I should be sweating, but I'm so cold I can't stop shaking. My chest hurts. The pressure is constant now, like someone sitting on my rib cage, like my lungs are filling with something that isn't air. I check my hands, still mostly normal, but they're, at the very edges of my fingernails, a gray tint. Starting. The woman in yellow is halfway up the stairs now. Behind her, more of them. The man in the suit, the child-sized one, others, moving faster now, learning. We need a barricade, I say. The stairs, top of the stairs, whatever we can move. With what? The furniture's all downstairs. The chairs, the Sunday school chairs. They're small, but there's dozens of them. Stack them, wedge them. My phone buzzes. Dr. Chenault, alternative extraction. Adjacent building. Our Lady of Guadalupe Church, 411 in Rampart. Roof access confirmed. 150 meters from your location. Can you reach it? I text. Building surrounded by water. Infected in water. How do we cross? Response, building to building transfer. Windows. Fire escapes. Avoid water contact at all costs. Extraction from Guadalupe roof in 6 minutes. I look out the window. Our Lady of Guadalupe. I can see it from here. Rampart Street between us. The water's 5 feet deep at least, full of floating debris and shapes that move with purpose. And between here and there, I count the buildings. 3, maybe 4. We'd have to go through or over all of them. 6 minutes, I tell Delphine. We got 6 minutes to get 41 people across 3 buildings to the church on Rampart. 43 people. Delphine, you think I'm leaving you here? You think any of these people are going to agree to leave 2 people behind to die? She grabs my arm. Hard. Her grip is strong. Too strong. The bacteria doing something to muscle tissue, strengthening it even as it kills. We all go, or none of us go. The woman in yellow reaches the top of the stairs. I spray her with a fire extinguisher. The chemical foam hits her face, her chest, and she stops. Not because it hurts, I don't think she can feel pain anymore, but because she can't see, can't navigate. She's pawing at her face, trying to clear the foam, and I'm using those seconds to grab Sunday school chairs and throw them at the top of the stairs, building a barricade that won't hold for long, but might buy us minutes. Delphine is already moving. She's got the Sunday school room door open, and she's talking to everyone inside, fast and clear. I can't hear the words, but I can see the faces. Fear, confusion, then understanding, then movement. People are coming out, lining up, the older folks helping each other. Travis Mouton, who's 19 and plays basketball at Uno. He's carrying Mrs. Chun, who's 83 and weighs maybe 90 pounds. Somebody else has a crying baby. I don't know whose baby. Didn't know there was a baby in the group. But there's a baby and someone's got it, and everyone's moving toward the window on the east side, the one that faces the AutoZone next door. I'm piling more chairs. The woman in yellow has cleared her face, and she's climbing over the barricade. The child-sized one is right behind her. I can see it better now in the red emergency light. A boy, maybe 8 years old when he died, wearing shorts and a button-up shirt, buried in the 1960s, probably based on the clothes. His face is gone, just gray-white bloated tissue and empty eye sockets, but he's moving, climbing, learning. I spray him too. Use the whole extinguisher. The foam covers both of them, and they stop, confused, and I'm running toward the window where Delphine has it open. Fire escape? I ask. No fire escape. This building was built in 1923. Fire codes were different. So how? Travis is already out the window. He's standing on a narrow ledge outside, maybe 8 inches wide, and he's reaching back in. There's a gap, he says, between buildings, maybe 4 feet. I can jump it. Then I can help people across. 4 feet between buildings. 30 feet above water that's full of reanimated corpses and bacteria that will kill you in hours and bring you back in minutes. Do it, I say. Travis jumps. For a second, he's airborne, and I'm thinking about all the ways this can go wrong. But he lands on the AutoZone roof. Solid. He turns back, reaches across the gap. Okay, he says. One at a time. I'll catch you. Mrs. Chin goes first. Travis helps her onto the ledge. She's shaking so hard, I can hear her teeth chattering. And then she's jumping, and Travis has her, and she's across. Next, Travis calls. They go one by one. The baby gets passed across. Then the mother. Then others. 20 people. 25. I'm watching the clock on my phone. 4 minutes until helicopter extraction. We need to move faster. Behind me, I hear the barricade collapse. Chairs clattering. The wet, dragging sound of multiple bodies climbing over debris. Faster, I say. We need to move faster. Delphine is at the window helping people across. Her movements are getting slower, more labored. I can see the effort it takes for her to lift each person onto the ledge. The bacteria consuming energy, muscle tissue, everything. How you doing? I ask her. I'm fine. Delphine. I said I'm fine. Just cold and tired. So tired, Jericho. 30 people across now. 35. The group is thinning. And behind us, the woman in yellow is at the Sunday school room door. She's figured out how to turn the handle. Not remembering exactly. She's been dead for who knows how long. She doesn't remember anything, but learning. Testing. Problem solving with whatever's left of a brain that's mostly consumed by bacteria. The door opens. Go, I tell Delphine. Get across. Not without you. I'm right behind you. I just need to. The woman in yellow is in the room now. The child is with her. Others behind them. 6, 8, 10. More than I thought. They're spreading through the space, and the remaining people are panicking, pushing toward the window, and someone falls. An older man, I don't know. He hits the floor hard, and I'm pulling him up, but the woman in yellow is closer now, reaching for him. And I'm between them with nothing but my hands because the fire extinguisher is empty and useless. She grabs my arm. Her hand is cold, wet. The skin slides under my grip, but her fingers are strong, so strong, and she's pulling me toward her and her mouth is open and I could see inside. Black. Empty. Wrong. I pull back. Hard. My shirt tears. The fabric stays in her hand, and I'm stumbling backward and Delphine has me. She's pulling me toward the window. How many left? She asks. 5. 6. I don't know. I lost count. 3 minutes on my phone. 3 minutes until the helicopter extracts from Guadalupe's roof. The remaining people are at the window. They're going across fast now, terror making them brave, and Travis is on the other side catching them and passing them along because there's people on the AutoZone roof now helping, creating a chain. You next, Delphine says to me. You first. Jericho, you're further along than me. You know it. I can see it. Your hands. Your eyes. You need to get across now while you still can. She looks at her hands. The gray white has spread to her palms, up her wrists, and her eyes. The cloudiness is nearly complete. Just a ring of brown around the edges. Everything else white and opaque. I can't see very well, she says. Quiet, like she's admitting something shameful. The edges are all gray. Everything's getting darker. Then go. Now, before it gets worse. What about you? I'm right behind you. Soon as the last person's across, she looks at me, through me, with eyes that are barely working. You're lying. I'm not. You're lying. You're going to stay here. You're going to hold them off while everyone else gets away. That's what you're planning. The woman in yellow is 10 feet away now. The others are spreading through the room. The man in the suit. The child. More. They're learning to flank. To surround. They're getting smarter. Delphine, please. I raised you, Jericho Baptiste. You think I don't know when you're lying? She grabs my face with both hands. Her skin is cold and wrong, but her grip is fierce. You don't get to be the hero. Not today. Not alone. One of us needs to survive this. Neither of us is surviving this. The CDC said, no treatment. Irreversible. We're dead, baby. We've been dead since the moment we touched that water. The only question is whether we die human or die as those things. Behind her, the last person goes through the window. Travis yells something, but I can't hear it over the moaning. 2 minutes on my phone. We can still get across, I say. Both of us. Right now. We jump, we run. And what? Get on the helicopter? Infect everyone else? Watch as 41 people turn into what we're becoming. She shakes her head. No, we stay. We make sure they get away. And then what? She pulls something from her pocket. A pill bottle. Orange prescription bottle with a white label. I recognize it. OxyContin. Leftover from when she had that root canal last year. 60 pills, 30 milligrams each. Enough for both of us, she says. We take them now. All of them. We go to sleep before the change finishes. Before reanimation. We die human. I'm staring at the bottle. At the choice she's offering. Die now on our terms, or die in 90 minutes and come back as those things. That's not. There has to be another way. If we can just. There isn't. She opens the bottle, pours half in her palm. Hand me the rest. This is the choice, baby. This is all we've got left. The woman in yellow is 5 feet away. The others are closing in. A circle tightening. 1 minute on my phone. Outside, I hear it. The helicopter. The bass thrum of rotors cutting through humid air. They're at Guadalupe. They're loading people. They're leaving. Delphine is looking at me with eyes that barely work. Together, she asks. I look at the pills in my hand. 30 pills. 30 milligrams each. 900 milligrams total. More than enough. Way more than enough. Respiratory depression within 30 minutes. Cardiac arrest within 60. Dead before the bacterial cascade completes its work. Dead before reanimation. Dead human. But 41 people are getting on that helicopter right now. 41 people who need someone to make sure the infected don't follow. Who need someone to keep the stairs blocked, the windows watched, the perimeter held until they're in the air and gone. Someone who's already dead anyway. Someone who can buy them 5 minutes. Maybe 10. However long it takes for the pills to work. Or someone who can fight. Who can stay conscious. Who can hold the line until the helicopter is out of range and the people I swore to protect are safe. I look at Delphine, at the woman who raised me, who taught me everything about survival and sacrifice and doing what needs to be done even when it destroys you. I can't. I say, Jericho, if we take these now, we've got 30 to 60 minutes before we're unconscious. That's 30 to 60 minutes where these things might break through. Might find a way downstairs. Might follow those people. I close my fist around the pills. Someone needs to stay conscious. Someone needs to make sure everyone gets away. So we both stay conscious. We both fight. You can barely see. Your muscles are failing. You said it yourself. You're tired. You can't fight. Not like this. I take her hands. They're so cold. But I can. For a little while longer. I'm maybe 40 minutes behind you in the progression. That's 40 minutes I can use. She's crying. I didn't know the infected could still cry, but tears are running down her face, cutting tracks through the gray-white discoloration. I'm not leaving you, she says. You're not leaving me. You're going first. That's all. I'm right behind you. 20 minutes. 30 tops. Soon as I know everyone's safe. You promise. I look at the pills in my hand. At the woman in yellow, who's 3 feet away now. At the window behind us where the helicopter sound is fading, getting distant, leaving. I promise I lie. She knows I'm lying. I can see it in her face. But she takes her pills anyway. All of them. Dry swallows them with a grimace. Then she sits down against the wall in the corner by the bookshelf with the Bible storybooks. I love you, she says. Her words are getting slurred. The pills working fast. I'm proud of you. Your mama will be proud of you. You saved so many people, baby. So many. I learned from the best. Tell Celine. Tell Beatrice's grandbaby. Tell her that her Grammy loved her. That she fought to stay. That she tried. I will. And Jericho, when you take your pills, don't wait too long. Don't let yourself become one of them. Promise me that. Promise me you'll take them in time. I promise. She smiles. Her eyes close. The pills working. Respiratory depression starting. Her breathing gets shallow. Slower. Slower. Then stops. I wait. 5 minutes. 10. Watching for any sign of reanimation. Any twitch. Any movement. But there's nothing. The pills worked fast enough. She died before the bacterial cascade could complete. She stayed human. I turn around. The woman in yellow is right there. The child is next to her. The man in the suit. Others. 12. 15. 20. The whole room is full of them now. They're surrounding me. Testing. Learning. Waiting. In my pocket, the pills feel heavy. 28 minutes until cardiac arrest if I take them now. But the helicopter is gone. The people are safe. My job is done. I could take them. Should take them. Die human like Delphine. Like I promised. But I'm looking at these things. At what used to be people. At the woman in the yellow dress who maybe had a family once. At the child who never got to grow up. At the man in the suit who had a job and a life and dreams. And I'm thinking about the CDC. About Dr. Chenault and his texts. About Peterson and his clipboard. About how they sealed the cemetery district after 6 days of knowing the bacteria was there. After 6 days of letting it spread. After 6 days of waiting to see what would happen. They knew. They had to have known. You don't detect elevated levels of Clostridium perfringens after 6 days unless you were looking for it before. Unless you were monitoring. Unless you were studying. My phone buzzes one last time. Dr. Chenault. All personnel extracted successfully. Cemetery district now under full quarantine. Military cordon established. Sterilization protocol to commence 0600 hours. Thank you for your cooperation. Sterilization protocol. They're going to burn the district. Everything in it. Everyone in it. Everyone who got left behind. Everyone who's infected. Everyone who might have information about what really happened here. I text back. What about survivors? Infected individuals? Treatment protocols? The response is immediate. No survivors anticipated. Infection rate 100% in exposure zones. Reanimation universal. Sterilization only option. I look at the pills in my hand. Then I look at my phone. And my voice recorder app. The one I use for patient documentation sometimes. I hit record. My name is Jericho Baptiste. It's August 28th, 2025, approximately 2,157 hours. I'm in the First Baptist Church on Frenchman Street in the Marigny district. I'm infected with whatever the CDC is calling Clostridium perfringens, but I don't think that's what this really is. I think they knew. I think they were waiting to see what would happen. I think this was the woman in yellow grabs me. Her hands are on my shoulders and she's strong, so strong. And I'm falling backward and the phone goes flying and I hear it hit the wall and I don't know if it's still recording. I don't take the pills. I hold on to them, keep them in my fist as the woman pulls me down. As the others close in, as the cold spreads through my body and the pressure in my chest becomes unbearable and my vision goes gray at the edges. I need to stay conscious. I need to remember. I need to stay human long enough to understand what's happening. The CDC is going to burn this district in 8 hours. They're going to sterilize it, destroy all evidence, all witnesses, unless someone survives to tell the story. Someone who can walk out of here. Someone who can cross water without drowning. Someone who the military cordon won't expect. Someone who's already dead. The woman in yellow is biting my shoulder. I feel it distantly. No pain, just pressure, just cold. The bacteria spreading faster now. Accelerated by direct contact, by blood exposure. My vision is going, gray fading to black. My heartbeat is slowing, irregular, stopping. This is it. Cardiac arrest. 2 to 4 hours from exposure. Right on schedule. I count the seconds. 5 minutes. 10. Waiting for reanimation. Waiting to see if I come back. Waiting to see if I stay conscious enough to remember who I am. 15 minutes. My heart is still. My lungs don't work. My body is cold and wrong and dead. But I'm still here. I'm still thinking. I open my eyes. I'm looking at the ceiling. The water-stained acoustic tiles with the brown spots from old leaks. I can see every detail, every fiber. The emergency exit light casts red across everything and I can see in it. Better than before. Different than before. I sit up. The woman in yellow is still here. The child. The man in the suit. Others. They're standing around me. Not attacking now. Just standing. Waiting. Like they recognize something. I look at my hands. Gray-white. Bloated. The skin is loose, sliding over muscle and bone that work wrong. My fingers move when I tell them to, but the motion is delayed. Jerky. Like learning to use a body that isn't quite mine anymore. I stand up. Takes 3 tries. Balance is wrong. Inner ear not working right. But I get vertical, and the others, they back away. Making space. Like I'm one of them now. I'm one of them now, but I'm still thinking. I'm still me. Jericho Baptiste, 32 years old. EMT, raised in the 7th Ward by Delphine, who's dead in the corner with an empty pill bottle in her hand. I walk over to her. My footsteps are wrong. Wet dragging sounds. But I make it. I kneel down. Takes a while to coordinate the movement. But I get there. She looks peaceful. Eyes closed. Face still mostly brown, not gray-white like mine. She died fast enough. Stayed human. I'm sorry, I try to say, but my mouth doesn't work right. My vocal cords are gone or damaged or consumed. What comes out is a moan. Low. Wet. Just like the others. I can't talk. I can't tell anyone what the CDC did. What they knew. What they waited for. I stand up. Look around the room. The others are still here. Watching me. Waiting. My phone is on the floor. The screen is cracked, but it's still on. Still glowing. I pick it up. My fingers don't work well. Takes 5 tries to grip it. But I get it. The voice recorder app is still running. Red dot blinking. Still recording. I look at the timestamp. 21:57 when I started. 2,312 now. 75 minutes of recording. Including my death. Including reanimation. Including everything. I need to get this out. Get somewhere the CDC can't sterilize it. Get it to someone who can. Who can what? Who's going to believe a recording from a dead man? Who's going to listen? But I'm moving anyway. Toward the window. The gap between buildings is still there. 4 feet. I can make that. I'm dead. I can't fall and die again. I can just walk right off and... No. The impact would destroy the phone. Destroy the evidence. I need to go down. through the church, through the water, out to somewhere beyond the quarantine zone, somewhere the military cordon hasn't set up yet. I go to the stairs. The barricade is destroyed. Chairs everywhere. I walk down. Each step is a negotiation. Lift foot. Move forward. Lower. Repeat. My brain knows how, but my body takes time to respond. The ground floor is underwater. 3 feet at least. Bodies floating in it. The ones who couldn't climb. The ones who were too deteriorated. They bump against the walls. Against each other. Some are still moving. Some aren't. I wade in. The water is warm. Wrong. Chemical smell stronger now. Hydrogen sulfide and ammonia and decay. But I can't smell it really. Not like before. My olfactory nerves are dead or dying. Just a ghost of smell. A memory. The front door is open. Broken. I walk through it. Out into Rampart Street where the water is deeper. 5 feet. 6. It comes up to my chest and I'm not breathing anymore, so it doesn't matter. I just walk. 1 foot in front of the other. Slow. Purposeful. Others are in the water with me. The woman in yellow is following. So is the child. The man in the suit. More. They're all walking the same direction. Toward the cemetery. Toward St. Louis, number 1, where this started. I'm trying to go the other direction. Toward the military cordon. Toward the edge of the quarantine zone. But the current is wrong. Something is pulling us back. Pulling us toward the cemetery. Not current. Not water movement. Something else. I can feel it now. A pressure. A pull. Like gravity, but not gravity. Like something at the center of the cemetery district is calling. Summoning. Collecting. The bacterial bloom isn't random. It's not just anaerobic bacteria feeding on corpses. It's organized. It's purposeful. It's connected. All of us. Every reanimated body in this water. We're all connected. I can feel them, not hear them. There's no voices, no words, but feel them. Their presence. Their awareness. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. All the bodies from all the old cemeteries. All in the water. All infected. All walking toward the center. Toward Marie Laveau's tomb. I know the history. Everyone from New Orleans knows. Marie Laveau, the voodoo queen, died in 1881. Buried in St. Louis Cemetery number 1. Her tomb is a pilgrimage site. Tourists leave offerings. Draw XXX marks on the wall. Ask for favors from beyond the grave. What if she answered, "No, that's insane. That's supernatural thinking, and this is science. This is bacteria. This is anaerobic microbial cascade. This is, I'm a dead man walking through floodwater full of reanimated corpses, all being pulled toward a 140-year-old grave by something that shouldn't exist. Maybe supernatural is the right framework after all, but I can't go there. I can't let myself be pulled. I need to get to the cordon, need to get this recording out. I push against the pole. It's like walking through molasses. Like the water itself is resisting. But I make progress. 1 step, 2, away from the cemetery, toward Esplanade Avenue, where the water should be shallower, where the military cordon should be setting up. The woman in yellow grabs my arm. She's not attacking, just holding, stopping me. Her cloudy eyes look at me, and there's something there. Not intelligence exactly, not consciousness like I've got, but something. Awareness, recognition. She makes a sound, not a moan, different, higher pitched, almost like speech. The others stop too. 20 of them, 30. They're all looking at me, all making that sound, that almost speech. They know I'm different. They know I'm still thinking, still conscious, and they're trying to tell me something. The woman in yellow points. Back toward the cemetery, toward the pole. She makes the sound again. Urgent. She wants me to go there. They all do. Maybe because whatever's at the center, whatever's calling them, it's calling me too. And maybe it knows I'm different. Maybe it wants me specifically. Or maybe they're trying to protect me. Keep me from leaving. Keep me from getting to the cordon where the military will. What? Shoot me? Capture me? Study me? I look at my phone. The recording is still going. Battery at 23%. Maybe 2 hours left. I need to make a choice. Go to the cordon. Try to get this evidence out. Risk being destroyed before anyone hears it. Or go to the cemetery. Go to the source. Record whatever's at the center. Document it. Then try to escape. The pull is getting stronger. Harder to resist. Like whatever's at the center knows I'm hesitating, and it's increasing the pressure. I look at the woman in yellow. At her hand on my arm. At her eyes, they're trying so hard to communicate something her destroyed vocal cords can't say. I make my decision. I stop fighting the pull. I turn around and walk toward the cemetery. The water gets deeper as I get closer. 7 feet. 8. I'm completely submerged now, but it doesn't matter. Dead lungs don't need air. I just walk along the bottom. Slow. Steady. Following the pull. The cemetery walls are broken. Huge gaps where the hurricane's surge smashed through brick and concrete that's been standing since the 1700s. I walk through one of the gaps. Inside, the devastation is complete. The tombs are destroyed. The beautiful above-ground crypts, the little house-shaped mausoleums that make New Orleans cemeteries look like cities of the dead, they're all broken open. Lids torn off. Walls collapsed. Bodies that were sealed and carefully wrapped in shrouds or placed in wooden caskets, they're all out now. All in the water. All walking. Hundreds of them. They're all converging on the center. All moving toward one tomb that's still intact. Still standing while everything around it is destroyed. Marie Laveau's tomb. The walls are covered in XXX marks. Offerings float in the water around it. Flowers, beads, coins, written prayers sealed in plastic bags. The tomb itself is larger than the others. More ornate, and it's glowing. Not glowing exactly. Wrong word. But there's light coming from it. Bioluminescence. Blue-green. Pulsing. The same color I've seen in certain bacteria cultures. The same color as certain types of anaerobic bloom. The bacterial source isn't dispersed through the water. It's coming from inside the tomb. I get closer. The other bodies part from me, making a path. The woman in yellow is still beside me. The child. The man in the suit. Others. All of them watching as I approach the tomb. The door is broken. Not destroyed like the others. Just opened. The seal broken from inside. I look through the opening. The tomb is empty. No casket. No bones. Just water and that blue-green light that's coming from the walls themselves. The stone is covered in it. Growing in patterns. Not random. Geometric. Organized. This is a natural bacterial bloom. This is cultivated. Designed. Built. Someone did this. Someone put this here. Someone waited 140 years for the right conditions. The right storm, the right flooding, the right saturation, and then activated it. The CDC didn't just know about this. They built it. I'm holding my phone up, recording everything. The tomb, the light, the patterns, the hundreds of reanimated bodies, all standing in formation around it like an army waiting for orders. That's what this is. Not a plague, not an outbreak, a weapon. The CDC, or whoever they're working for, they designed a bacterial agent that could reanimate corpses. They planted it here, in New Orleans, in the cemetery, where hurricanes flood regularly, where there's thousands of potential hosts sealed in above-ground tombs just waiting to be released into the water. They waited for Hurricane Delphine. They waited for the flooding. They waited for the right bacterial saturation levels. And then they activated it, and they're going to sterilize it at 0600 hours. Burn all evidence. Kill all witnesses. Except me. I'm already dead. I'm immune to sterilization as long as I can get out before 0600. I check my phone, 7 hours and 13 minutes. 7 hours to get past the military cordon. Get this recording somewhere safe. Get it uploaded, transmitted, sent to someone who can expose what happened here. But I can't talk, can't communicate. I'm a walking corpse that looks like a monster and moves like a monster, and the first person who sees me is going to shoot first and ask questions never. Unless I look at the bodies around me. Hundreds of them, all connected to the same bacterial network, all responding to the same central source. What if I could control them? What if whatever's in that tomb, whatever bacterial intelligence is coordinating all of this, what if I could access it, interface with it, use it? I'm still thinking, still conscious, still myself, somehow despite being dead and reanimated and infected with a bacterial agent that should have destroyed all higher brain function. What if that's not an accident? What if the bacteria left me conscious deliberately? Because it needs someone who can think strategically, someone who can get past military cordons and upload evidence and expose what happened here. What if the bacteria wants to survive, and it knows its only chance is to let one host keep thinking? I walk into the tomb, into the blue-green light. I put my hand on the wall where the patterns are strongest. The connection is immediate. I can feel all of them. Every reanimated body in the district, every infected host, hundreds, thousands, all their limited awareness flowing through the network. All of them connected to this central hub in Marie Laveau's tomb. And they're all waiting for someone to tell them what to do, waiting for me. I test it. Think about movement, about walking, about going to the north corner of the cemetery. 50 bodies near me respond. They turn, walk north, perfectly coordinated. I think about stopping. They stop. I think about walking in formation. They organize. Lines, columns, military precision. Oh my God, the CDC didn't just build a weapon. They built an army, and I'm in command of it. I pull my hand away from the wall. The connection fades, but doesn't break. I can still feel them, still sense their presence, still issue commands if I focus. My phone is at 17% battery. Maybe 90 minutes left. I need to make another choice. Try to escape alone. One body sneaking past the cordon. Low chance of success, but I stay anonymous, stay human, stay myself. Or use the army. Coordinate an assault on the military cordon. Break through with overwhelming force. Higher chance of success, but I become exactly what the CDC created. A weapon controller. A commander of the dead. I look at my phone. At the recording that's been running for 93 minutes now. At the evidence of everything that happened here. Everything the CDC did. I look at the bodies around me. The woman in yellow. The child. The man in the suit. People who lived and died and got buried properly and deserve to rest in peace. Not get weaponized by their own government. I look at the blue-green patterns on the tomb walls. At the bacterial intelligence that's been growing here for 140 years waiting for activation. And I look at the time. 0007 hours. 5 hours and 53 minutes until sterilization. I make my choice. I put my hand back on the wall. Connect to the network. And I send one command to every reanimated body in the cemetery district. Follow me. It's 0534 hours when I reach the military cordon. 26 minutes before sterilization protocol. The sun isn't up yet, but the sky is getting lighter. Gray-blue dawn over water that's still 3 feet deep in most places. The cordon is set up on Elysian Fields Avenue. Military trucks, Humvees, soldiers in full hazmat gear with assault rifles. They've got the whole avenue blocked. Nobody in, nobody out. Behind me, I've got approximately 2,000 reanimated corpses. They're spread across 6 blocks, all of them walking in formation, all of them waiting for my command. I stopped controlling them directly about an hour ago. The bacterial network does most of it now. I just think about general direction, general purpose, and the network coordinates the details. Like commanding an organism instead of an army. Like being the brain of something much larger than myself. My phone died 40 minutes ago. Battery at 0. But I got the recording uploaded first. Used the last 3% to find open Wi-Fi. Some coffee shop on Decatur Street that never turned off their router. Uploaded the file to 6 different cloud services, emailed it to every news organization I could think of, posted it on every social media platform I still had passwords for. The recording is out there now, somewhere beyond the quarantine zone, beyond the CDC's ability to sterilize it. But that doesn't mean anyone will believe it. Doesn't mean anyone will listen. Doesn't mean this won't all get buried as conspiracy theory or hoax or the ravings of a dead man who lost his mind. Unless I give them something they can't ignore. Unless I walk up to that military cordon with 2,000 witnesses and make them see what the CDC created. I'm 50 yards from the cordon now. Close enough to see individual soldiers. Young mostly. 20, 25. Kids doing their job. Following orders. not understanding what's really happening here. They see us coming. Of course they see us. 2,000 reanimated corpses walking in formation through flooded streets at dawn is hard to miss. Someone shouting into a radio. Someone else is raising a rifle. Multiple someones. I count 40 soldiers on this section of cordon. Maybe more in the Humvees. All of them aiming at us now. Halt! Halt, or we will fire. I stop. The others stop. 2,000 bodies going still simultaneously. Perfect military precision. That scares them more than the shambling would have. I can see it in their faces. The fear. The confusion. Dead people shouldn't move like trained soldiers. A man comes forward. Officer. Hazmat suit with captain's insignia. He's got a bullhorn. Identify yourself. I can't. My vocal cords are gone. Consumed by bacteria or decay or whatever this is that's keeping me animated. I can't talk. Can't explain. Can't tell them I'm Jericho Baptiste, EMT, try and stop the CDC from burning evidence of biological warfare. But I can move. I can demonstrate. I can show them I'm still conscious. Still thinking. Still human enough to matter. I walk forward alone. Slow. Hands up. Empty. Non-threatening. The universal gesture of surrender. Stop. Do not approach. I keep walking. 10 yards. 5. They shoot me. 3 rounds center mass. I feel the impact. Distant, muted, wrong. My body jerks backward. Gray-white flesh tears. Dark fluid that isn't quite blood leaks out. But I don't stop. Don't fall. Just keep walking, because I'm already dead. Bullets don't matter anymore. The soldiers are panicking now. More shooting. My left arm comes off at the elbow. Just separates. Bone and tissue and bacterial bloom spilling out. The arm falls in the water. I'm still walking with the other one raised. Jesus Christ, it's still moving. Headshot. Headshot. Something hits my skull. The world tilts. Vision goes gray. Grayer than it already was. I'm on my knees in the water. Face down. Dead again maybe. Or just damaged. Hard to tell the difference now. I can still think. Still feel the network. Still sense the 2,000 bodies behind me waiting for orders. I could give the command right now. Send all of them forward. Overwhelm the cordon through pure numbers. They can't stop 2,000. They'd run out of ammunition before we ran out of bodies. But that would make me exactly what the CDC created. A weapon controller. A commander of the dead used for violence. That's not why I came here. I don't give the command. I just lie there in the water. Waiting. Thinking. Remembering. I remember Delphine making red beans in the church kitchen. The way she stirred with that old wooden spoon. The way she asked questions I was thinking but hadn't shaped yet. I remember Beatrice Arsenault tied to a chair in the Sunday schoolroom. Her last words, tell Celine I love her. Tell her Grammy, try to stay. I remember the 41 people who got on that helicopter. Travis Mouton and Mrs. Chun and the baby whose name I never learned. All of them alive because someone stayed behind. I remember my mother who died when I was 14. Delphine who raised me after. My father who gave me this Timex watch that's still on my wrist somehow, still ticking underwater like it's too stubborn to admit time doesn't matter to the dead. I remember being human, and I realize this is the last time I'll remember. The bacterial network is growing, spreading through what's left of my brain, consuming memory, consuming personality, consuming everything that makes me Jericho Baptiste instead of just another reanimated corpse following biological programming. Maybe I've got hours left, maybe minutes, but not long, not nearly long enough. The captain is on his radio again. I can hear him through the water. Confirmed hostile entity. Request permission to engage full force. Repeat, requesting permission to. Another voice interrupts. Louder, coming from somewhere else. Speakers. They've set up speakers on the trucks. This is Dr. Ramon Chenault, CDC Field Operations. Attention military personnel, do not engage targets. Repeat, do not engage. Standing down to observe infected behavior. The shooting stops. I lift my head out of the water. My skull is damaged, but working. Vision is fragmented, seeing in pieces, in sections like a broken mirror. But I can see. Dr. Chenault is walking forward. No hazmat suit, just slacks and a button-down and a tablet in his hand. He's confident, relaxed, like walking toward 2,000 reanimated corpses is something he does every Tuesday. He stops 10 feet from me, looks at me with eyes that are analyzing, calculating, collecting data. Fascinating, he says. You're still conscious. Higher brain function intact despite complete cardiac and respiratory cessation. The bacterial network preserved your neural architecture while consuming peripheral tissue. He's typing on his tablet, making notes. Which one were you? The EMT. I can't answer, can't nod, can't do anything but look at him with eyes that barely work. Jericho Baptiste, he continues, reading from the tablet. 32 years old, first responder, exposed to floodwater at approximately 18:25 hours on August 28th. Time of reanimation. He checked something. Approximately 2,310 hours same day. That's, 4 hours and 45 minutes from exposure to reanimation. Faster than projected. The bacterial cascade is accelerating. He walks closer, kneels in the water next to me, studies my face like I'm a specimen. A thing, not a person. We've been waiting for this, he says. Waiting for someone to maintain consciousness post-reanimation. The bacterial agent was designed to preserve certain neural pathways, motor control, pattern recognition, command hierarchy, but we didn't expect executive function. We didn't expect self-awareness. He smiles. You're the prototype, Mr. Baptiste. The proof of concept. You're everything we hope to create. I want to hit him. I want to grab him and pull him into the water and let the bacteria take him too. Want to make him understand what it feels like to die and come back wrong. But I don't, because he's still talking, still explaining, and I need to understand. Need to know the full scope before I what? Before I die again? Before I lose myself completely? Before the last of Jericho Baptiste dissolves into the bacterial network? The sterilization protocol, Dr. Chenault continues, it's not about destroying evidence. Well, not only about destroying evidence. It's about containing the experiment until we're ready to deploy it properly. New Orleans was the test site. Hurricane Delphine gave us perfect conditions. We needed to see how the bacterial agent performed in real-world conditions. We needed to see how many bodies would reanimate, how long they'd stay active, how well they'd coordinate. He gestures at the 2,000 bodies behind me. And most importantly, we needed to see if we could create a command structure, if we could preserve consciousness in a single host and use that host to coordinate the others. He looks at me. Congratulations, Mr. Baptiste. You passed the test. You're exactly what we designed Marie Laveau's tomb to produce. Marie Laveau's tomb, the bacterial source, the network hub. We've been growing that particular strain since 1985, he says. 40 years of cultivation, waiting for the right storm, the right flooding, the right activation conditions. We built redundancy into 6 different New Orleans cemeteries. St. Louis number 1 was just the most successful site. I'm trying to process this. 40 years, since 1985. That's the year before I was born. This has been growing longer than I've been alive. The sterilization protocol will activate in, he checks his tablet, 19 minutes. Thermobaric devices. They'll superheat the entire quarantine zone to 3,000 degrees Celsius. Vaporize all biological material. Leave nothing but ash and clean streets. He stands up. But you're valuable, Mr. Baptiste. Your data we need. So we're making you an offer. He gestures toward the military line. Come with us. Voluntarily. Let us study you. Help us refine the bacterial agent. Help us create more like you. Conscious hosts who can command the others. In exchange, we'll preserve what's left of your consciousness. Keep you active. Keep you thinking. You'll never be human again, but you'll never be mindless either. You'll be something new, something better. I'm looking at him, at his face that's so calm, so rational, so convinced that turning people into weapons is somehow an improvement. And I'm thinking about the 41 people on the helicopter. about whether they're safe now or whether the CDC will find them too, whether they'll be tested for bacterial exposure, whether they'll become more experiments. I'm thinking about the recording I uploaded, about whether anyone will believe it, whether news organizations will play it or bury it, whether the world will care about what happened in New Orleans or whether they'll just rebuild and forget like they always do. I'm thinking about Delphine, about how she died human with pills in her hand rather than become what I am now. I'm thinking about the choice Dr. Chenault is offering. Cooperate and stay conscious. Refuse and burn. Except that's not the real choice. The real choice is whether I accept what the CDC created, accept being a weapon, a prototype, a command unit for an army of the dead, or whether I find a third option. I look at the military line, at the soldiers with their rifles, at the trucks with speakers, at the perimeter they've set up, and I look behind me, at the 2,000 reanimated corpses standing in perfect formation, all of them connected to the bacterial network, all of them connected to me, all of them waiting. I don't have vocal cords, can't speak, can't explain my choice, but I can act. I close my eyes, what's left of them, and I reach into the bacterial network, not to command, not to coordinate, not to use them as weapons, but to free them. I find a connection. The central hub in Marie Laveau's tomb, the blue-green patterns on the walls, the bacterial intelligence that's been coordinating everything. And I sever it, not destroy it, just cut the command pathways, break the network hierarchy, give each reanimated body back its autonomy. Let them move or not move based on whatever's left of their own awareness, instead of following orders from a central source. The effect is immediate. Behind me, 2,000 bodies stop coordinating, stop standing in formation. They scatter. Some fall, some wander, some just stand there swaying like they're remembering how it felt to be alive and make their own choices. Dr. Chenault is staring at his tablet. What did you do? The network, the command structure, it's collapsing. I'm standing up now. Difficult without my left arm. Balance is wrong, but I manage. I look at Dr. Chenault, at his face that's confused now instead of confident, and I walk away from him, away from the military line, back toward the cemetery district, back toward the quarantine zone that will vaporize in. I check the Timex on my remaining wrist, 14 minutes. Wait, Dr. Chenault is following me, splashing through water. You're going back? You're walking into the sterilization zone? That's suicide. I'm already dead. Can't commit suicide twice, but I can choose where my body stops. I can choose whether I burn as a weapon the CDC created or as Jericho Baptiste who tried to save people even when it destroyed him. I can choose to die on my own terms. Again, the woman in yellow is still here. She's wandering now, free from the network, free from commands. She sees me and she stops. Makes that sound, that almost speech. The child is here too. The man in the suit. Others. All of them freed from coordination. All of them moving randomly, individually, like they're remembering what it meant to be separate people instead of parts of a machine. I walk past them, back towards St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, back toward Marie Laveau's tomb where this started. Behind me, I hear Dr. Chenault screaming into his radio. Need to extract the primary host before sterilization. Repeat, primary host returning to ground zero, requesting immediate recovery team. But nobody's coming. Nobody's going to risk entering the zone this close to thermobaric detonation. I'm alone. Finally, no, not alone. The woman in yellow is following me. So is the child, the man in the suit, others. Not because I'm commanding them, not because the network is coordinating them, but because they're choosing to follow, choosing to walk back to the cemetery, choosing to burn together rather than let the CDC study them. We're making a choice, maybe the last choice any of us will ever make. I reached the cemetery at 0548 hours, 7 minutes until sterilization. The tomb is still glowing, still pulsing with blue-green light. The bacterial source, the network hub, the thing the CDC spent 40 years cultivating. I walk inside, put my remaining hand on the wall where the patterns are strongest. The connection floods back. All the reanimated bodies in the district. Not 2,000 anymore, maybe 300. The ones who chose to follow me. The ones who chose to burn rather than be weapons. I can feel them. Their limited awareness. Their fractured memories. Their confusion and fear and exhaustion. I send one last message through the network. Not a command, not an order, just a feeling, just a memory. I remember being human. I remember Delphine and Beatrice and Travis and Mrs. Chun and the baby and my mother and my father and everyone I ever knew who lived and died and deserved to be remembered. I remember that we were people once. We had names. We had families. We had lives that mattered. And then I destroy the tomb. I don't know how exactly. The bacterial intelligence, what's left of it, it shows me, teaches me. The blue-green patterns aren't just coordination. They're also fuel. Hydrogen sulfide stored in the stone. Methane pockets in the walls. The bacteria created its own explosive potential. Maybe deliberately, maybe as a failsafe. I ignite it. The explosion is small, contained, just enough to collapse the tomb, to destroy the patterns, to end the bacterial source. The network dies. All the reanimated bodies in the cemetery, they drop. Hundreds of them, falling into the water like puppets with cut strings. Finally dead. Finally at rest. I'm still standing. I don't know why. Maybe because I was too close to ground zero. Maybe because the bacterial cascade in my body is independent now. Self-sustaining. Maybe because I'm too stubborn to fall even when I should. I walk out of the destroyed tomb. The sun is up now. Orange-pink dawn over flooded streets that smell like death and chemicals and fire. The sterilization protocol is coming. I can hear the jets. High altitude, carrying payloads that will turn this entire district into ash. 3 minutes maybe. 4. I look at the Timex on my wrist. My father's watch. Still ticking. Still keeping time for a dead man who doesn't need it anymore. I look at the floodwater. At the debris floating in it. At the reflection of the sunrise that makes it look almost beautiful, almost clean. I think about uploading that recording, about whether anyone will listen, whether anything will change, whether the CDC will be exposed, or whether they'll just move the experiment somewhere else. Some other city, some other hurricane, some other test population that doesn't matter to the people who make these decisions. I think about Delphine dying human in the Sunday school room. About whether she'd be proud of what I did or disappointed that I didn't try harder to survive. I think about the 41 people on the helicopter, about whether they made it out, whether they're somewhere safe, whether they'll tell their own stories of what happened here. I think about Beatrice Arsenault's granddaughter Celine, about whether anyone told her that her Grammy loved her, that she fought to stay, that she tried. I think about a lot of things. And then the jets arrive. The explosion is light before it's sound, before it's heat, before it's nothing. I have time to notice the Timex has stopped. Finally, the watch face is cracked. The hand's frozen at 0552 hours. August 29th, 2025. The last thing I think is, I hope someone listened. I hope the recording mattered. I hope a euro.